It starts with a change you almost miss. A faint haze on the horizon, a whisper in the dust. Then, clouds. Real clouds. Winds carving dunes not just with sand but with air. For the first time in billions of years, Mars breathes. The red planet, once cold, dead and silent, has grown a second skin, an atmosphere, and everything changes. First, the sky. It's no longer black and star-pricked in the day. It glows a soft butterscotch blue, tinted by suspended dust. Sunsets bloom in lavender and copper. As light scatters across particles that weren't there before, temperature climbs. Not to Earth levels, but enough to melt permafrost, trigger wind patterns, even form morning fog. Mars, once colder than Antarctica, now warms to just below freezing at noon. And that's enough, because then the water comes. Ancient ice trapped in the poles and buried under the regolith starts to sweat. Sublimation turns to runoff. Runoff to rivulets. Rivulets to flash floods. Vast plains once called chaos terrain begin to pool with meltwater. Mars starts to reshape itself. You see gullies forming again. Dry riverbeds twitch with life. Crater lakes fill for the first time in eons. Dust becomes mud. For the first time in 3 billion years, rain falls on Mars. But it's not paradise yet. It's something else. A living storm. Second, the storms. Mars is waking up angry. Its gravity is weaker than Earth's. That means the atmosphere, though thicker than before, is still thin. But now there's heat, pressure, motion. The dust storms that once cloaked the whole planet for months, they now mix with supercharged winds, creating hurricanes of dust and ice. Some stretch thousands of kilometers, like Earth's cyclones, but blood-red and blinding. Lightning crackles across the Tharsis region. Ash rises from Olympus Mons as thermal currents build beneath the ancient volcano. Yes, Mars might even erupt again. The planet doesn't just come alive, it becomes volatile. Third, the habitability. With air pressure rising, humans no longer need full pressure suits, just oxygen masks and thermal layers. Greenhouses thrive. Seeds once stored for centuries sprout under Martian light and CO2-rich air. Terraforming accelerates. Algae is seeded in briny pools. Engineers flood the valleys marineris with hardy moss and lichen. But it's not just about humans adapting to Mars. It's Mars adapting to life. Microbes introduced decades ago begin altering the soil. Methane cycles fluctuate. Life, however small, begins to terraform back. Fourth, the consequences. Mars getting its atmosphere back could happen two ways. Natural, through massive asteroid impact, or volcanic resurgence. Artificial via terraforming, nuking the poles, orbiting mirrors, greenhouse gas factories. Either way, it changes more than Mars. It changes us. A habitable Mars means a second Earth, a backup, a laboratory, a wild, untamed frontier. But here's the twist. Mars' magnetic field is still gone, which means without protection, solar winds will strip the atmosphere again. Just like before, all our efforts, all its changes, all that fragile air could bleed into space in a few thousand years. Unless we find a way to rebuild Mars's magnetosphere, a planetary shield, it's only a borrowed breath. Fifth, the legacy. If Mars keeps its atmosphere, it may birth a civilization. Generations born under the rust-red sky. Farmers who till dust turned dirt. Cities built in craters. A culture that doesn't remember Earth except in stories. One day, Martians might look at the stars and wonder who lived on the blue planet that shines faintly in the east. They may write myths about it, build rockets toward return to it, not as colonists, but as descendants of a world reborn. So what if Mars got its atmosphere back? Then history would turn. The red planet would become a second Eden, scarred, wild, and alive. And humanity would no longer be bound to one fragile world. We'd be a multi-planet species, standing on alien soil, breathing air that was never ours, until we made it